Hi everybody, I am your host tonight, George Newton. First of all, give yourselves a good round of applause for coming out here and supporting Monkey Comedy. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. I am a high school teacher. No, we're not clapping, we're not wooing, in no way are we validating my bad decisions, okay? Alright, those of you who didn't clap, that was the proper reaction. You never know when fun things are going to happen when you're a high school teacher. The other day, I went into the ELL classes for the kids who can't speak English, and I just had to substitute teach for one period, right? So I thought I just had to take attendance and let them play on their phones for an hour. Wrong. I got the first name on the list, ISIS. Like the terrorist organization, right? So I'm like, ISIS, they're looking at me because they can't speak English. I'm like, ISIS, they're just staring at me. I hadn't noticed that the principal walked in right as I went up to these Middle Eastern kids and said, "Are you ISIS? Are you ISIS? Are you ISIS?" Yeah, I got to have a really fun meeting that day. I have problems with the kids who speak English as well. One of the kids the other day said, "Mr. Newton, other kids say you look like the Lorax." Yeah, I didn't need to know that. Oh, God. It's so much fun being a history teacher. The other day I was teaching the kids about the Holocaust, and I said, Hitler killed 6 million Jews. And this one kid looked right at me and said, "That's not the worst thing that Hitler did." And me, because I'm not that smart, said, "What's the worst thing that Hitler did?" And this kid looked right at me and said, "Hitler did your mom." Yeah, I only teach for the respect, really. Oh, so good. Alright. I teach at inner city school, which is a nice way of saying the kids always want to punch each other. And there's a zoo that's right next to my school. And there's a fence that separates the school and the zoo. And I noticed the other day that there's barbed wire on the fence, and the barbed wire is on the school side. Yeah, it's not to protect the children. Our school colors are black and orange, and we have an animal mascot. All right, so I want to do a little bit of audience participation, okay? I'm going to just think black and orange animal. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and you guys are going to tell me, all right? So just 1, 2, 3.
Tiger.
All right, everybody said tiger, nice. I'm glad that nobody said Lorax, because that's happened a couple times. The weirdest one was somebody screamed out Hitler, which is weird. I don't think that would be a high school mascot. But anyway, we all pretty much agree that tiger would make sense, right? But my school, the school mascot is a polar bear. Yeah, that confusion that you're feeling right now, that's how it feels at school every day for me. These kids. They tell me that they know so much. Like this kid was arguing that he knew everything about 9/11 because he saw the movie Soul Plane. Yeah. I make fun of these kids, but I am excited to teach about feminism by having them watch the movie White Chicks. Kids, high school kids, they say a lot of stuff to get out doing their work. I had this girl around Christmas time, she kept saying, "Am I a Grinch?" I'm like, "Get back to work. Am I a Grinch? Get back to work. Am I a Grinch? Get back to work." So I finally just looked at her and said, "No, I don't think you're a Grinch because I don't believe an adorable dog would be your friend." Oh, yeah. And that room got real quiet, just like the good people got quiet right now. Thank you, good people. And she just looked at me and said, "You just roasted me. Do it again, do it again, do it again." And a swarm of children descended upon me. "Roast me, roast me, roast me. Say something about my hair. I don't know my dad." High school kids are crazy. I don't just work with kids. I also have kids of my own. Every day I go into my daughter's room and I say, "Princess, it's time to get ready for school." And she just looks right at me and says, "Die in a hole." Oh yeah, it's so much fun raising a Boston driver, let me tell you. I love my kids, sometimes even when they're awake. I call her a princess, and she's a princess to me, but I know she's different from other little princess kids because she's more of a mafia princess. She keeps putting hits on me for getting the wrong dino nuggets. It's really hard. My kids, they talk about some of the same things that other kids talk about, they just talk about it in different ways. Like they talk about divorce, they're very concerned because friends of theirs are getting divorced, like their parents are getting divorced, and they say that, they talk about it in a little different way. Instead of saying, divorced, they call it the quest for 2 Christmases. Yeah. So much fun. They just scream out and are really loud and try to draw attention to themselves. I don't know why I just thought of that. Just talking to myself, I guess. My son, he's like a smaller version of me. Alright, so he's like a tinier version of me. And the other day he told me he had a rap name for himself. I'm like, what's a rap name for a smaller version of me? He said his name was Little Cracker. And I'm like, Little Cracker, what? Why? I'm like, yep, because I'm a little cracker. I'm like, alright, I guess. He's 12, so he's starting to talk about different things. Like, the other day we were in a car, and he said, Dad, what's 69? Don't worry, this story gets so much worse. Because my 15-year-old was also in the car, and my 15-year-old said something very 15-year-old. She said, Dad doesn't know what 69 is because he's never done it. Yeah. So I'd have to think, all right, I've been disrespected by a 15-year-old, right, in a pretty bad way. And I gotta tell her that was disrespectful, but also do it in a way that shows her what a mature, responsible adult is, right? So I said the only thing I could. Yeah, I know what 69 is. I've done a lot with your mom. I don't know where these kids get their disrespect from. I'll have to figure that out one of these days. I'm from a town called Worcester, Massachusetts. Alright, good. Nobody moved on that. No, we're not moving. We're not clapping. We're not learning anything. No. We are not cool. Like, we stole a minor league ball team from Pawtucket. Okay? Alright? I think that tells you all you need to know about this town, right? Oh, man. Yeah, I know we're not that cool, too, because the other day my son's Nintendo DS broke, and I Googled place the electronics fixed in Worcester, Massachusetts, and the first thing that came up was a Radio Shack. That closed in 2014. We are not that cool. I make fun of Worcester, but it's fun to live in a town with 2.37 dispensaries for every man, woman, and child. Worcester, you don't have to be high to live there, but it helps. The other day I had a very Worcester conversation. I was walking down Shrewsbury Street, which, for those who don't know Worcester, is one of our nicer streets. You can tell that's where the good Little Caesars is. And as I heard somebody knocking on a door, and he was knocking, and then he said, "Let me in, I'm not a crackhead." It's a very important thing to say in Worcester, Massachusetts. And I didn't hear what the person said inside, but I heard what he said after she was done. He said, "What, you expect me to do all this crack myself?" And then someone 2 doors down said, "I'll do crack with you," and the original person pulled him in, and that is a Worcester love story right there. I've seen amazing things in this town. One of the things I saw the other day, you know how on the back of vans they have cartoon characters with like the man, the woman, the dog, and the kids?
Yes.
Yeah? Alright, good. Just checking. Alright, this was a little bit different because where the dad had been was scratched out. And there was a giant yellow sticker that said the word MILF. Yeah, Worcester is an amazing place. Yeah, I'm going to turn tracks a little bit. I'm older than a lot of comedians you're going to see tonight, as you can probably tell, because as the kids say, white does crack. But I'm going to do a little bit more audience participation, all right? I'm going to tell a story, and then you guys are just going to raise your hand if you think I'm telling the truth or not. So the other day I went to a store and I was carded. Show of hands who believes me. Like a couple people. It's okay, I'm not mad at everybody else. I understand, I can see me too. But I wasn't carded because I was buying alcohol. I was carded because I was buying Sudafed. Now show of hands who believes me. It's a lot more people. Before I leave stage, I want to know 2 things. Number 1, who thinks I'm young, and number 2, who thinks I do math. Very important things to know. Number 2, thank you. I got it the first time, but thank you for making sure. I really appreciate it. I had some self-esteem. They had to make sure it was not going up. But as I mentioned, I'm older, and I know that I'm old, and one of the ways that I know that I'm old is because the first time I had sex, vaginas had hair. Yeah, they didn't tell you that, young people. When we were, in the olden days, we rode dinosaurs to school when vaginas had hair, and they cut it out of Jurassic Park because it was way too scary. I Are you guys ready for your next comedian tonight? There we go. He is a very